Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, and today we're going to be looking at release number 4, which is update number 3 to DreamWorld. If you thought the last 2 weeks combined was tragic, yeah, this is worse. And I know what you're thinking. What do you mean DreamWorld admits defeat? What's the thumbnail all about? All will be revealed, trust me. This gets weird, this gets really weird. Right, so naturally we've started off with a feature that 1, they never promised, 2, nobody asked for, and 3, doesn't make any sense at all. Storage chests to keep your hard-earned resources. Defend your own, raid others, or trade. And then we get the catch. So clearly they just thought, let's add a chest. And then once they did it, a chest, they've made it, you can store your stuff in it. But why would you do that when you can hold infinite resources? So what's the point? And they're not lost if you die. They're not... Well, you can't die. So how are they not safe on the player? And how are they now safer in a chest? Well, the answer to all of those is they're not. So to force people to use a chest that they didn't ask for and that was never actually going to be added, you will be slowed if carrying too much. They've added an encumbrance system for the absolute sake of it. And now this doesn't even make sense. So you get slowed if you have more than 200 of any resource. Which is a little odd, because that's not even enough to build 3 walls. So who worked this out? Who conceptualized this whole thing and thought, that makes perfect sense? This is what the DreamWorld needs. Oh, it's our video sponsor, Atlas VPN. Are you tired of scammers stealing your money? Well, I can't help you with that, but I can help you with scammers trying to steal your online identity. Developed by top cybersecurity specialists in 2020, Atlas is a fairly new VPN, but it's still packing massive punches. What is a VPN, you may ask? A VPN is a tool that allows you to change your IP address and appear as if you were anywhere in the world with the click of a button. A VPN works like a middleman to keep your data safe from the endpoint. This is achieved through end-to-end encryption. Atlas can even help you detect if you've been the victim of an online data breach through their email scanning tool. Simply input your email and Atlas will search for it appearing in any known data breaches online. Atlas is supported across all devices, and if that's not enough, they even have a 30-day money-back guarantee. Within 5 seconds and 1 click, you can be somewhere else in the world entirely. Aside from privacy reasons, another reason that you may want a VPN is to be able to watch TV shows from other countries. Some TV shows just aren't available in your country. Some shows like Top Gear are only available in the UK and therefore are unviewable in the US. That is of course unless you have a VPN. Using Atlas VPN, you'll be able to unlock your favourite TV shows anywhere in the world. Atlas even has servers that they recommend as optimised streaming servers. Currently, Atlas VPN is running a huge discount on their 3-year deal for just $1.39 per month. This is also covered by their 30-day money-back guarantee. The deal won't last forever though, so make sure to check it out using my link in the description below. Okay, deleting your old assets now only refund 50%. Congratulations, they've actually achieved one of the things in their patch notes this week. That does in fact work. FPS improved 20%. Well, as we all know, this game for some reason and I want to point this out, a lot of people keep saying, you're just mocking the game, you're slowing down footage. Just purely to mock it. No. I'm running this on a 16-core Threadripper with dual 1070 Ti's. This game performs like a dying horse, and there's no reason. Pins the GPUs at 100%. My processor's off on an absolute wobbler every time I launch it. This is not a hardware issue. This is a them issue. And yes, I understand less performant computers are running this game at an acceptable frame rate. But this is the them issue, not a me issue. And while we're on the topic of clarification, I just want to say, I've noticed a few people say in my last video, oh, you're bullying indie devs. Why are you bullying indie devs? They're just indie devs. And I understand that a lot of people have probably not done their research and caught up on the whole story going backwards. So I will give you the TLDR on why we are picking on indie devs. These 2 indie devs raised $2.2 million to create Ready Player One, the metaverse, the everything game. And then it came out that they'd lied about absolutely everything in their funding. They'd lied to the venture capitalists that backed them. So we're not being mean to two indie developers. We're being mean to two people who have got zero game development history, who have lied to steal 2.2 million, which is essentially what they've done. So now that we're all caught up to speed on that, and hopefully people have a better understanding of why I am so critical to these two guys, let's continue. The world has healed outside the Spirit Lanterns. Yes, the world has healed outside the Spirit Lanterns, but in a weird radius that isn't actually protected by the Spirit Lanterns. It seemed like a large portion of the world, even outside of the Spirit Lanterns, is protected. And I almost feel that they were embarrassed after their last update, so they manually healed the world around any lanterns that they found, and they missed a few, which is what we're finding. Because we found, I'm going to see if I can get the video to put on screen now. Me and Scazo found these immediately after the update, and they're not healed. Majority of the world is, but again, this feels like a manual job to hide the fact that their code, well, doesn't. Pause menu, now on escape. You're a multiplayer game. And it doesn't pause. Why is this a pause menu? Why did you want to add a pause menu to a multiplayer game? 2, it doesn't pause the game. So what is it? Why do you, 1, need a pause menu? And 2, what functionality does it serve in a multiplayer game where you can't pause? And then the final one, which, by the way, we're not even classing this as a patch, and I will tell you why. We also added some basic multiplayer avatars, but who really asked for that? I preferred the gumballs. For those of you who don't know what they're referring to, the default Unreal Engine player mannequin is now the player model in DreamWorld, which is what it was by default in the very beginning. Then they changed it to a sphere, then they got mocked, and then they've now changed it back to, and by the way, this is a Control-Z. They're undoing something they did. This isn't a development to their game. They've removed an undevelopment. But this isn't even the craziest part of this. This isn't the part that's making me just think, what on earth is this? So they sent out a survey to all people who backed the alpha. And this is where it gets super weird. So now that we're done with that, we get to the juicy stuff, the bit that you guys have been waiting for. So I said earlier that DreamWorld admitted defeat. Now, do I mean that they came out and said, oh, this is a scam? No, they're never going to do that. That would land them in so much hot water it wouldn't even be worth their time. What they've done is they've hired 2 new developers. Now, this is where it gets mysterious. One of them called Silver Bullet, and the other called God Particle. Now, you'll notice that both of these have the same profile picture, so we reverse searched it. And this takes you to a game called Gearstorm. And oh boy, I tell you, this is a match made in heaven. DreamWorld have essentially outsourced work to another game studio because they've admitted that they can't do it themselves. And I mean, we didn't even need them to admit that. Just look at their last 3 weeks of development. It's nothing. I've created their last 3 weeks of development in under a combined total of 10 minutes. 3 weeks. So I actually reached out to Silver Bullet, and I did in fact get to speak to him. So while I tell you about this, in the background, I'll show you a quick, speedy coding of the chest feature that they added this week, as it is once again really the only feature that they've added this week. So, to begin with, I was very surprised that they even responded to my message, let alone jumped in call with me. Now, they are obviously under an NDA with DreamWorld, so there isn't a lot that I could ask them that they would be able to answer. But I was more so interested in the whole logistics behind an ex-game dev studio jumping in to bail DreamWorld out. To be honest, I was convinced that this was just a studio trying to profit off of DreamWorld having to, pay someone to come do their work for them. It doesn't seem like that's the case, though. It actually seems like these people are very, very competent. Which is not what I was thinking at first. These guys are basically here to clean up the mess that DreamWorld has created, from what I can tell. All my words, not theirs, of course. But it still stands that this is an odd choice. None of it really makes any sense. Now, I'm not going to go too in-depth about these two new guys, because I have asked them if we can speak again at some point, and have a more in-depth conversation, and I can get you guys some more accurate information on them. Because I feel this is going to be a big, big part. This could be where DreamWorld actually turns around and does something. Now, we all know it's never going to become what they promised, but this could actually lead to something coming out, which I think would be exciting for everyone to actually see what arrives. And there we have it. With just a little bit of work, we had somebody spend about 2.5 hours modelling and animating that. Now, this is somebody that doesn't normally do this. This is not their main job. This was just skills that they have at hand. And that was about a grand total of 4 minutes of me coding. Yeah, I mean, I didn't code the function to give resources because, well, they already had that as well. On top of that, I threw in a fun particle effect that I'd already made ahead of time, and realistically, that's it. These guys are failing update after update after update to actually provide something decent. As always, I hope you guys have thoroughly enjoyed this video. A massive thank you to AtlasVPN for sponsoring this video and possibly sponsoring future videos. Remember guys, you can get this VPN for $1.39 a month using my link down in the description below.